Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am so happy you're here. We're gonna do another weekly reading vlog. I have a few witchy books on my TBR and I feel like October is the perfect time to read those. So that's my plan for this week. I have already started an audiobook today. I've never heard about it, but it was available on Libby. I just looked up witchy books. I started listening to Witch's Block by Amy Boyles and I'm 48% into it. It's a very short book. I think it has like under 200 pages. But we follow our main character, Paige, who's 43 years old and a very successful author of paranormal books. But when her ex-husband exposes her as a fraud, she kind of gets cancelled and she's really struggling with her career. Not only with her image as an author, but she's also struggling with a writer's block. So she decides to rent a cabin in this small town she has visited before to hopefully get inspired for her new book. But when she arrives in that town, strange things start to happen. It seems like they're celebrating Halloween all year round. There are ghosts and just very strange people. And I wasn't aware that this was also kind of a murder mystery, but her ex-husband turns up dead in her cabin. And she's obviously the prime suspect now. So she's trying to solve the mystery and find out what happened to her ex-husband. And it's really fun so far. So everything that's happening in this town is very new to her. So we kind of learn everything about this town and those paranormal people with her together. It is currently Saturday. It's 1 p.m. I have some content stuff to do today, and then tonight I have my heels class again. But I would like to start a physical book later today. I do have a few options, so we're gonna check our TBR later and pick a book. I'm really excited. It's a few hours later and I'm gonna start a new book now. I'm gonna start reading A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This is such a long title, but I've heard so many great things about this, so I'm really excited. This follows Mika, who's a witch, but apparently witches must stay secret and have to hide away their magic. Mika is very lonely and stays away from people in order to keep her secret, I think. But one day she gets invited to this mysterious place called Nowhere House to teach 3 young witches who can't control their powers yet. So she decides to go and starts teaching the kids. I think we're gonna follow them, learn everything about being a witch, like casting spells and stuff like that. And along the way, Mika forms bonds with different characters in this estate, like the caretakers, but also the kids, and Jamie, who's the librarian. So I'm assuming that this is gonna have a big found family trope, which sounds perfect. So I'm very excited to start this. I think I'm gonna make myself an iced coffee now and sit down and start this book. I'm about to leave for my heels class, but I wanted to give you a little reading update. I started reading The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. That is such a mouthful. I only read a few pages, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Hopefully I read some more of that tonight. But I also just finished listening to my audiobook. I think I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. It was a very short book. It had under 200 pages. I feel like it would have been better if it had been longer because it was all very rushed. I did really love the magical town that this was set in and all of the creatures. And I also really enjoyed that we learned everything about this world and the different creatures with our main character. But I feel like the author tried really hard to be funny, and it was definitely very millennial coded. And I think that's just not my humor. So that's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, but it was still a fun read. And I saw that this is a series. It has 3 books. Unfortunately, the next part isn't available on Libby right now, so I can't continue the series. So I just checked Libby for books that I could listen to now, and I think I've decided on listening to The House Witch. I've heard so much about this, and I'm really excited to finally start it. The book follows Finley, who becomes the royal cook of the kingdom in this world, but he's secretly a house witch. His magic is tied to homes, and he makes places feel comfortable and safe. And he does try to keep his magic hidden, but especially in that kingdom, that's apparently very hard. So he kind of gets drawn into different court politics, and there's also a romance plot in this series. So it all sounds very fun. And I also love that we get a male witch in this one, because I feel like most books about witches are about female witches. Happy Sunday. It is 1:15 p.m. I just got ready and I have some very exciting plans for today. I'm gonna go to a reading event with one of my friends. It's gonna be 3 hours long and we're gonna switch back and forth from reading time. I think it's gonna be like 30 minutes of reading and then 30 minutes of talking about books and playing different bookish games. And that event is gonna be in a cafe, so it just sounds like perfection and I'm really excited. I am a little anxious because new things just give me anxiety, but that's the only way that you can improve your mental health and anxiety, by doing the stuff you're scared of. So I'm just gonna force myself to do it because I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna take The Very Secret Society of Witches with me. I'm on page 58 and I'm really enjoying it so far. I've also listened to quite a lot of The House Witch and I'm 29% into that one. And I'm also loving that book. So I'm having a great reading time right now. It just has the perfect mix of all the things I love in fantasy books or cozy fantasy books. It's like really cozy, but it still has a lot of fun fantasy elements. It's also very funny. And there are a lot of quirky characters that I'm obsessed with, especially Prince Eric. He's, I think, 8 years old and he's the sweetest. I'm also obsessed with Finley, who's our main character. It takes me about an hour to get there, so I have to leave at around 2 p.m. I think I'm just gonna listen to my audiobook on my way there because I get really sick reading a physical book while driving or taking the train or anything like that. So unfortunately I can't do that, but I mean, I'm loving The House Witch, so I don't mind listening to that. I still have a little under an hour until I have to leave, so I think I'm gonna sit down and read some more of my book because I'm pretty much done with everything on my to-do list today. That feels really good. In general, I'm in such a good mood today. It's 8:30, I'm back home. I just got ready for bed. It was definitely fun, but my social battery is completely drained. I feel so exhausted and also got a headache, so I'm not feeling that great right now. So I'm definitely gonna go to bed early because I have to work all day tomorrow. But I did manage to read quite a lot. I'm now on page 242. So I have about 80 pages left of this book. And I'm gonna try to finish it tonight, but I'm not gonna force myself to finish it. If my headache gets worse or if I just feel too tired, I'm just gonna go to bed, but I'm gonna try to read as much of this as I can. It is Monday night, and as pretty much always on Mondays, I have a migraine. It's not too bad, so I can definitely read. I only read a few more pages of my book last night, so I still have about 70 pages left. So we're gonna finish this now. I don't know why, because this is an adult book, but I didn't expect that there would be smut in this book. Like, not a lot, but that just completely caught me off guard. I just finished my book and I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure on the rating. I'm deciding between a 3.5 and a 4-star. This book was definitely very character driven, and I loved that, and also loved the found family aspect. That was really heartwarming. But I wish we would have gotten a bit more plot. Maybe I should have gone into this with less expectations. I don't know if I thought I would be like kind of like Harry Potter, like a school setting, like not an actual school, but I thought Mika teaching the kids about being a witch would play a bigger role in this book, and it didn't. Like, I would say at all. And I also feel like the romance plot was kind of random. I think I've mentioned that before, but I feel like often in those cozy fantasy and also mystery books, the romance plot isn't really necessary. Because in this one, I didn't hate it, but I would also have liked the book the same if there hadn't been a romance plot. I feel like that found family thing was enough, but that's just me nitpicking. It was definitely a very fun, cozy, and whimsical read. And I'm really starting to realize that I love reading witchy books. I was obsessed with the thought of being a witch when I was a child, so maybe that's why. But I'm having the best time reading these books. I'm not gonna stay up too much longer because it's almost 10 p.m. and I have to work tomorrow. But I'm gonna try to start my new book. I'm gonna start reading Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. I have no idea what this is about, but I do know that a lot of people love it. And I'm also obsessed with the cover. I love the colors of it. I'm only on page 3, so I can't tell you anything about what this book is about yet. But apparently our main character, Belle, works at a bookstore. So we're off to a great start. Happy Tuesday. It's already 7:30. I haven't read a single page today, but I had a really busy day at work. And then this salesperson knocked on my door, and I'm really bad at saying no. Luckily, I didn't sign anything. But I was so anxious and overwhelmed. But in general, when something that I haven't planned happens, I get so overwhelmed. I had this whole plan for tonight that I would film content and read and stuff like that after getting off work. But that salesperson completely threw me off. So I've just been doom scrolling for the past hour, which isn't ideal. So I think I'm gonna put on a 30-minute read with me on YouTube and try to read as much as I can off Rewitched. I only read to page 22 last night, but I think that's what I'm gonna do now. And then maybe I will have gathered my thoughts again and will be able to film at least one video, because I religiously create to-do lists. I cannot survive without my to-do lists. But I overwhelm myself so much by filling them to the brim and then being disappointed in myself when I cannot complete them. My to-do list for work tomorrow, I couldn't even manage to do all of that in the span of 3 work days. How do I imagine doing all of that tomorrow in 8 hours? That's not possible. So I tend to overwhelm myself. And I could just stop doing that, but I feel like I have no time. But then I end up doom scrolling for hours on TikTok. So it's my own fault. Like, I should just be more chill in life in general. But I fear that I'm just not that person. I mean, I'm sure that's something you can work on, but maybe that's because of my ADHD, but I just need that pressure to get things done. So that's why my to-do list probably will forever be endless. Something I've noticed reading my third witchy book now, every book definitely had a different storyline or plot, but the main characters are very, very similar to each other. I mean, I'm obviously not an expert on witchy books after reading 3 of them, but I'm not sure if they just take like character traits that are typical for witches. All 3 of the witches I read about love the sea and always have to be close to the sea. They love nature and have like millions of plants in their apartments. They all have cats. Like, maybe those are just like stereotypes for witches and the authors include that because of that. But that's just something I noticed. I mean, I don't mind. It still doesn't feel repetitive because they each have their own story, but yeah. And they're also never good at magic. Like, in all of the books, our main characters are like the worst witches in their families and friend group or whatever. All of them always struggle with their magic. And all of those things I've noticed in these 3 books was also the case in the A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon book series. Almost 9 p.m. on a Thursday. I've been so busy with work. I definitely worked a lot longer than I usually would, but I also did other things in between, like personal stuff, so it's fine. But I'm already pretty tired, but I don't want to go to bed again without reading anything because I didn't read a single page yesterday. So I think I'm gonna put on another read with me video on YouTube and just read for like half an hour before I go to bed. I am on page 151 of Rewitched and I'm really enjoying it. I think I haven't told you what this book is about. We follow our main character, Belle Blackthorn, who works at this small bookstore in London, and she keeps really quiet about her being a witch and about her magic. Nobody in her personal life, except for her mom and grandmother, who are both witches themselves, know that she's a witch. But on her 30th birthday, she gets summoned by her witch coven and has to complete some trials to prove that she is worthy of her magic, and if she fails those trials, her magic is taken away from her. She has definitely struggled with her magic all her life and doesn't know a lot about the world of witches and her coven, so she's kind of off to a rocky start, but I'm really enjoying this. It's so cozy. I think this is mainly gonna focus on Belle's growth journey, because while she is very outgoing and doesn't keep back her thoughts, she is pretty insecure and still figuring things out. So I think that's like the main focus of this book. Good morning and happy Saturday. This is definitely not a weekly vlog anymore, but I still have some books to read. So we're just gonna keep this video going. But it is 10 a.m. and I'm gonna go for a walk now. I have a little bit over an hour left of my audiobook. So I'm gonna finish The House Witch on my walk and then get ready for today and then sit down to read. I will hopefully get a lot of reading done today, and I don't have any plans tomorrow, so maybe we can finish all of the books I'm reading right now. I have some updates for you. I haven't read a lot more of Bewitched. I'm on page 178, but I'm gonna sit down for an hour now and read as much of this as I can. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish this today because I'm gonna hang out with my boyfriend later, but this video has to end at some point, so I'm gonna try my best. And then, like I said, I finished listening to The House Witch while I was on my walk this morning. I think I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. I think my biggest problem with it was that it was just way too long. It had almost 700 pages, and I feel like because of that the story kind of lost its plot at some point, but other than that I really enjoyed it. I loved all of the characters. They were so funny and just wholesome, and I also really enjoyed the romance plot. I do think I'm gonna pick up the next book in the series, but not right now. And then I also have another update. I haven't talked about this book at all, but I'm also currently reading The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall, and I'm 50% through that book. It's also a witchy book, of course. This follows our main character, Arya, who's from a family of witches, but like in all of the other books, she really struggles with her magic. But after living in London for years, she returns to her hometown called Charming Cove, I think, to save her family's potion shop. And in order to do that, she has to enter this magical competition to inherit this magical garden, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. So we follow her on that journey, but it's also a romance story about her and Callan, who's this very wealthy mage. But Arya really dislikes him because of something that happened in the past, but he's been obsessed with her for years and is trying to win her over. And because they both enter this competition, they start working together and their relationship slowly gets better. And it's really fun so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's very funny and I'm obsessed with the romance plot. And a big focus in this book is definitely about Arya self-doubting herself and trying to figure out her magic, because Callan is convinced that she's a very powerful witch, but she cannot see that. She always failed doing magical stuff, so that part is also very interesting. And all in all, I'm having a great time reading this. Happy Sunday. It's 8:30. I woke up pretty early this morning. I'm currently preheating my oven because I prepared a loaf of sourdough yesterday and I'm really excited to bake that. I haven't made sourdough in so long, so my starter isn't as strong anymore, but hopefully it will still turn out fine. But I just sat down to read some more of Bewitched. I'm on page 292. Belle gets assigned this mentor who's supposed to help her with her magic, and that was one thing I complained about with the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, that we didn't get a lot of insights into that whole teaching thing, and we definitely have that here, so I'm really enjoying it. It reminds me a lot of Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, like just that mentor-mentee relationship, So I'm enjoying that a lot, but I have just over 100 pages left, and all of a sudden there's a romance plot in this. Like, the love interest was definitely hinted at throughout this book, but nothing really happened up until this point. So this is kind of random. Like, I feel like that's my complaint with most of these types of books, that the romance plot just always seems very out of place and just not necessary. Like, I'm not hating it, but it wasn't really needed. But I'm just gonna keep reading this and hopefully finish it soon. My dishwasher is running right now. I hope you can't hear that. If you can, I'm sorry. But I just finished reading Rewitched. I think I'm gonna rate it 3.75 or maybe even 4 stars. It was definitely a lot more high fantasy than I expected, because especially compared to the other witchy books I've read so far, they were all those cute, cozy reads. And while this definitely was also very cozy, it was just a lot more high stakes and just a higher level of fantasy, I guess. So I did enjoy that. I also really liked the side characters, especially Artie, who was Belle's mentor. And like I already mentioned, also their relationship. But the two things that kind of bothered me about this book were, first of all, the romance plot. Like, it just came out of nowhere. They, like, 100 pages from the end, they suddenly kissed, and then at the end they were together, and there wasn't anything mentioned about them building a relationship or getting to know each other. So that was kind of confusing. And I also wasn't the biggest fan of Belle, or FMC. She's 30 years old, and she was just, I mean, of course this book was about her finding herself and figuring things out about her magic. So of course she doesn't have to have her life together. But she just didn't seem like she's 30 years old. Like, if that fact wasn't mentioned, I would say she's like in her late teens or maybe early 20s, but definitely not 30. All in all, she was just a little insufferable. But those are my only complaints. Other than that, I really enjoyed this and had a great time. I'm gonna go for a walk now. I really don't want to, but I've been dealing with high blood pressure, and especially since starting my ADHD meds, that didn't get any better, obviously. So I really have to start moving my body and eating better and stuff like that. So I have to force myself to go on a walk now. But I'm just gonna listen to an audiobook while doing it, and I'm gonna be proud of myself after, so I'm just gonna do it. But when I'm back, I'm gonna try to finish The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic. I'm back from my walk. I just took a quick shower and made myself an iced coffee. I'm gonna try to finish my book now. I'm 52% into the book. I'm on page 167 and it has 327 pages. So I have like 160 pages to read and it's 3:30 and I don't have anything else to do today except for making dinner. So I should definitely be able to do this. I think I'm gonna lay in my bed for a while because it's just so comfy and try to read as much as I can. I think I'm gonna put on another read with me video on YouTube on my iPad. I've been loving having them on while reading. In general, I'm a big fan of buddy doubling, doing anything. Like when I was at college, I loved FaceTiming my friends and just working together. And even now, I do enjoy being in the office and seeing my colleagues working. It always motivates me, so seeing other people read in those videos also motivates me to read. And if you have ADHD, or even if you don't, maybe you can still relate. I'm actually thinking about recording some read with me videos myself. I'm not sure if anyone would watch them because I don't have a lot of subscribers, but like I said, I really enjoy watching them. And I mean, I do read anyway, so I can just record myself doing it. So maybe I'm gonna do that soon. But I'm gonna stop talking now and start reading. I just finished reading The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic and I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. Reading it kind of felt like watching a Hallmark movie. So, I mean, they're fun, but they're not great. I did really like the setting of this book in this charming small town and with her family's potion shop. In order to win that competition to inherit this magical garden, she had to do these challenges, and that was really fun to read about. And I did also like the romance. It was definitely very surface level, but I still enjoyed it, and I liked Callan or MC a lot, and also really liked pretty much all of the characters. Arya also had a familia who was a badger, and she could talk to him, so we also read about his thoughts, which was just really charming. But like I mentioned, it was all very surface level. It definitely wasn't high stakes. So yeah, all in all, it was a fun read, but definitely not a masterpiece. But I have finished 3 of my books today. I didn't talk about the audiobook I was listening to because it didn't fit the theme of this video, but I finished my audiobook. I finished reading Bewitched, and now I finished reading The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic. So I'm very happy with that. I think I'm gonna end this video off here. I think I've read a lot of witchy books this week, and I realized that I really enjoy reading them. I do have to say I'm probably not gonna read witchy books for a week straight again because they are all very similar to each other, which I don't really mind, but reading them back to back, I at some point got really confused what happened in what book and what character we were following and stuff like that because it felt kind of repetitive at some point. But I still had a great time. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!